Dude. Welcome back to the CoolFigurez channel. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on this channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. And welcome to episode 40 of Coffee and Toys, guys. Here on the CoolFigurez channel, as always, we will discuss this week's Coffee and Toys Live, future guests for Coffee and Toys Live, this week's toy haul, this week's toy news, and so much more. But first, if you're new, then welcome. This channel is all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. If that's your sort of thing, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. If you do enjoy this video or any other videos that I put out, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. With that being said, guys, welcome to episode 40 of Coffee and Toys here on the CoolFigurez channel, guys. Can you fucking believe it? 40 episodes later, guys. When I first started this podcast, I had no idea I would even reach, episode 10, let alone 40, and that's even considering that I had a previous podcast that went I think 6 or 8 episodes before I completely, changed it in terms of name and theming, branding, marketing, and turned it into Coffee and Toys. So it's incredible, and it's all thanks to you guys. It's because of you guys that watch, that like, that comment, that I make these videos, that I put the effort in. These are long format videos that do take a long time to not only film, but also, most importantly, edit. You have to rewatch the entire podcast. So whatever time step you guys see on that corner in the thumbnail, times that by about 2 or 3, and that's about how long I have to spend editing this video. Well, I mean, not in full, because the latter portion of this video is always Coffee and Toys Live, and that is just straight up, a recording from Instagram. So that's the easy part of the editing process. But even still, then I have to edit it in a way so that the two pictures are side by side instead of stacked on top of each other, much like in Instagram and stuff. So, even that has some editing that has to be done. But thank you guys so much for 40 amazing episodes, 40 amazing episodes of support, likes, comments. So like I said in, I believe, episode 38, I will be doing a giveaway at episode 50 to celebrate the 50 episode milestone of Coffee and Toys. So let me know down in the comments below, what would you guys want in the giveaway? A hot toy? No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I gotta stick to a budget. Do you want a Hasbro Star Wars Vintage Collection figure, Star Wars Black Series figure, a Marvel Legends figure, a McFarlane figure? Let me know down in the comments below. Any figure basically between $20 and $40 is up for grabs. So even Neca Ultimates, let me know, what do you guys want to be a part of the giveaway? And if there's enough multiple answers, I'll go ahead and put up a poll and still let you guys decide the overall prize. So, or maybe I'll just have all 4 prizes and let the winner decide. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. Super excited about that, guys. Like I said, 10 more episodes, so about 10 weeks, because once a week we put up an episode. So I know it seems like a long time from now, but guys, trust me, 10 weeks from now would be, I believe, the 3rd week of August, because we're 8 weeks out from the bodybuilding show that I'm working with, and that's August 6th. So I believe the 3rd week of August we should have the giveaway. So that'll be here before you know it, guys, trust me. So super excited about that. But not only did we have our 40th episode of Coffee and Toys, but my live series on Instagram, Coffee and Toys Live, is nearing its 20th episode. So yeah, I kind of started Coffee and Toys Live about halfway after I started this podcast, because I had started this podcast initially, I believe, back in 2021. And at first I wanted to get comfortable in front of the camera by myself, guys, which honestly was relatively easy. And then I figured the next logical step would be to take my comfort level and push it again and do live shows on Instagram. And so I did one or two by myself, but then I figured, why not push it even further and interview people, So that's what I've been doing for this whole basically year at this point. I think I've missed like maybe one or two Wednesdays for the show because of special occasions or because I was on vacation. But yeah, for the most part, we basically have one every Wednesday, guys. So definitely tune in and check it out. I talk to toy collectors, toy photographers, toy companies, So some of the great people we've had on the show is, of course, in terms of toy collectors, there's the Toy Page. In terms of toy photographers, there's Jason B. Michael, 1/6 shooter, work more or less. I do have some other great ones lined up that we will go over in a sec. There's also toy companies. I've spoken to the Loyal Subjects. I've spoken to the marketing manager for Diamond Select, Zach Oath. So a lot of great guests and a lot of great guests coming up, guys, which we will actually go over a few of them coming up after we discuss this week's guest. So this week's guest was a rescheduling of a guest that was supposed to come on, I believe, back in March or April. However, through circumstances and stuff that were out of anybody's control, we were unable to meet on the original set date. But he did offer to come on another date. So this week was that date, and we had a phenomenal show. I've been watching. Oh, I haven't even said who the guest was. The guest this week is Matt Big Nerdy from the Nerdzoic YouTube channel and the Nerdzoic toy store. Yes, this guy loves toys so much. He not only started a YouTube, but he also opened up his own toy store, guys. And unfortunately, he does live in a part of the country that does get hit with massive floods and stuff. And he recently did get hit with a flooding of his basement. So if you are looking to buy toys, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Mayfix, a few Neca figures, definitely check out his store. He tries to beat Target and Walmart pricing when he can. If not, it's not like it's over retail, So I highly suggest and recommend you guys checking him out and supporting his shop and helping him grow and live out his dream of being able to run his own toy store and make that his living and his full-time job, guys. So definitely support him. And if you want more information on him and you want to get to know him more, definitely wait till the end of this episode and check out the interview with Big Nerdy himself, Matt from Nerdzoic. So we had a great conversation, and he's a phenomenal guy, a great guy, and he's a very, very hardworking person. Like I said, not only does he have a YouTube, but he has a toy store. And my friend from high school has a Funko Pop toy store, V-Rare store. Check them out, guys, for all your Funko Pop, anime, and Pokemon card needs. Use code CoolFigurez at checkout for 10% off your order. And I was helping him out with some stuff, a few months back, with packaging orders and whatnot to help him out because he was getting really busy and whatnot. So I seen that aspect of running a business, of running a toy store online even, and how stressful and how crazy it can be. And he was only doing Funko Pops, and Big Nerdy does all sorts of lines and franchises. He had all sorts of franchises of Funkos, but he was only dealing in Funkos, really. He had a few other things like fig pins, or has a few other things like fig pins, Pokemon cards, anime cards and stuff like that, but his main focus is Funko Pops, whereas Big Nerdy, he does all sorts of the action figures and whatnot. But knowing that aspect of running a business and stuff, and then also knowing the aspect of running a YouTube from just my own personal experience, doing my podcast, doing my reviews, now doing my live show, it's incredible that he can manage to balance both, because it is insane just being able to do one or the other. And then on top of that, he's a family man. He has kids. He has a wife. So just stack on normal, everyday, stuff on top of all of that. And you have to respect the man for what he does, his work ethic, his grind, and everything he's built up in such a short amount of time. So definitely check out Nerdzoic. Definitely check out Nerdzoic Toys Shop. And stay tuned to the end of this episode to hear our interview. So for future guests for Coffee and Toys Live, coming up next week, I do have Papa Palpatine Photography. If you don't know who he is, I highly recommend you checking him out on Instagram. He is a phenomenal toy photographer. In fact, all the toy photographers I've had on are phenomenal, but this guy really is great, and he was one of the first few toy photographers that I started following when I started seeing toy photography images, and he was really the inspiration for me to use like atmosphere aerosol in my pics or smoke effects, and his customization work, his crossover pics are just phenomenal. His Star Wars pics in general, just his pictures in general, are phenomenal. So I am definitely looking forward to having that conversation with him, picking up a few tips and tricks, and hopefully you guys all tune in. And if you guys have any toy photography picture questions or anything you guys want to ask him about his process or anything, definitely tune in on Wednesday. Stay tuned and check my stories on Instagram to check back for the time, because I don't think we've set up a time yet, or if we have, I just can't remember yet. I'll have to look back at our messages and go based off that. But we are going to be mixing things up a bit here on the channel with Coffee and Toys Live. So here in the collector space of, action figures, statues, pop culture stuff, much like cars and sports, it's dominated by men. The majority of the population is men, that you will go to, collectible shops and you will see men. However, there is a very small percentage of female collectors, and I am super excited to be highlighting a few of them coming up on Coffee and Toys Live very, very soon, guys. So we will be having Angi and also Janine very soon on the channel, so stay tuned for them, and dates to come soon as well. But in terms of toy photography, I will also be having the great, the one and only Sergeant Bananas here. But unfortunately, it will be at a later date in July because, I guess not unfortunate, because he's going on vacation. So good for him. He gets to enjoy some time off, some time away from home, some rest and relaxation. And so when he gets back, he will come on the show. And so I am definitely looking forward to that. I'm still in works to get Foosh on this channel soon. So that's still in the works. And a few other guests are still in the works as well. But so far, those are the ones I do have confirmed coming up very, very soon. And like I said, super excited to talk to Palpatine Photography. One of the first few ones I really saw that really stood out to me, in terms of like great toy photography when I first started seeing it, like professional grade toy photography, like Work More or Less, Jason B. Michael, 1/6 shooter, that kind of style. So with that being said, why don't we move on to this week's toy haul? Well, something I do want to address before we move on to this week's toy haul. I did realize while I was setting up that we haven't had a unboxing here on the channel for some time at this point. Not that I have one this week for you guys. I realized it and I thought I'd bring it up here so we can address it. And it's simply because I just haven't had any, so, and I keep forgetting. And I've been getting a few things in here and there, and when I've been getting them in, I've just been ripping them open, I'll be honest. So I haven't really had an unboxing for you guys, and I do apologize for that, but we still do have a decent toy haul this week, as you can see. And it's decent, but my wallet is definitely, I would say crying, but it feels more like bleeding out in a sense. So anyways, why don't we go ahead and start off with... We'll start off with Mayfix Batman right here, because he's the lesser of the three in terms of size and everything else. So I did manage to pick this guy up off of OfferUp, guys. Unfortunately, this was the first figure that I had picked up off of OfferUp that unfortunately did have an issue after I got home. So I've been really lucky this far when purchasing off of OfferUp, and everything I've purchased has been perfect, whether it's been in box or out of box. And this one looked perfectly good in box. I get him out to pose him up and everything like this, exactly like this. And I want this part of the cape to be swooshing like this part of the cape. However, it's impossible because the front wire of the cape is actually snapped from the piece of wire that's connected to the cowl and essentially the foundation to hold it in place. So it's literally loose as hell. Like, see, it doesn't even hold up. Like this one, it will hold up. Look, it stays up. See? This one, it flops down. It just flops down. And that's because literally when you feel the wire, you can literally feel a gap, and it moves. Like you can feel the wire rub against each other. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, I told the guy just shoot me $20 back for it. I did only get him for 70 or 80, so I would have picked him up for 60, and I would have been cool. But unfortunately, he never messaged me back for about 4 days, and I had to report him because that's just fucking bullshit in my opinion. This isn't. If this was a McFarlane, I would have just chalked it up to a cheap QC issue. I do know that Mayfix does have QC issues. However, he was advertising it as like new, with no issues. Had he, told me the issue, it wouldn't have been an issue. But I got home, went to pose him up, and found the issue. And it's not like I picked him up down the street. I actually had to drive like 40 minutes, from my house to pick him up. And, and then he was like, just bring him back. I'd rather just take him back and sell him for more. And I was just like, motherfucker. So, I mean, I know I'm going to be getting my $80 back, but gas isn't fucking cheap either right now. And I had to drive 40 minutes worth of gas. So, in the long run, I'm still going to be fucking losing money. You know what I mean? So it made absolutely no sense. So that's why I ended up just having to report him, unfortunately. And, I guess I'm just stuck with it unless I could figure something out or a way to fix the wire. But you would have to completely unstitch the wire from the cape. And I have absolutely no sewing skills. But I think he still looks somewhat decent. It is what it is. Like I said, I didn't pay full price for him, so I'm pretty happy about that. Does it suck that his cape's not going to hold as well as it should, and as I've seen it on multiple reviews? Yes, but it is what it is. So enough with the Mayfix Batman. Why don't we talk about one of these two big bad boys? As you guys know, I recently made the stupid, idiotic decision to get into Hot Toys and 1/6 scale figures. And I'm not even mad, So which one do I want to talk about first? Because they're both amazing figures. But I think I'm going to go in the order that I got them. And so that would be this guy first right here. The 501st Deluxe Hot Toys Clone Trooper with the Phase 1 helmet, the Phase 2 helmet, and shit. The 332nd helmet is up there with Kenobi. So those are all very expensive figures as well. So I'm not going to chance it trying to grab a little helmet and ending up, hitting him and him falling forward, me trying to catch him, and in turn knocking over Death Watch Mando, Plo Koon, and Kit Fisto, and then you guys would just literally witness me cry. So he's going to stay up there with Obi-Wan, but as you see, he does have the second, or the Phase 2 head right here. So yeah, this guy was definitely one that I had to get. I have an absolute love for Clone Troopers, and this release just happened to come out perfect timing because I just got into Hot Toys. Unfortunately, this figure just went waitlisted on Sideshow, so his price recently did go up. However, I was able to get him for a steal at $350. Now I know a lot of you guys are saying, wow, $350, that is not a steal whatsoever, but online it's going for $4+. And technically, he showed me on the box, he fucked up on the price and told me $350, when in reality, on the box on the back, the sticker said $4. So he said if I buy it today, he'll honor that price. But the other thing is, it's sold out everywhere else. I really couldn't find it anywhere else online. And I mean, I found it one listing on eBay for $350 shipping from Japan. So I was like, you know what? I can just pay $350 cash here, have it, don't have to worry about eBay taxes and fees. And so I went ahead and pulled the trigger, guys, because this is Star Wars to me right here. Well, I mean, obviously, even before, Episode 2, I love Star Wars. But when these guys came about, this was what Star Wars became about for me, was these Clone Troopers. I fucking love them. Jedi took a backseat to them instantly the second they made an appearance in episode 2. So I had to have this guy, and I'm super happy that I do. You know, I said in my previous episode that I find myself walking past that Mythos Boba Fett and staring at it and just admiring it. Well, now it's this figure. So yeah, absolutely love this guy, and he will remain with the Phase 1 helmet because I personally love the Phase 1 armor and helmet, and this is why I got the deluxe anyways. You know, I could have got the standard version with just the Phase 2 helmet. Like, I really couldn't give a shit less about the 332nd helmet, but I could have just got the regular standard version with just the Phase 2 helmet, but the deluxe obviously comes with the Phase 1 helmet, and so I had to get it. So yeah, but definitely instantly one of my favorite, if not the favorite figure in my Hot Toys collection instantly. And I think the thing that makes it even better is that it's probably the newest Hot Toy in the collection, not even just in terms of me buying it, but in terms of release as well, because I think he was released sometime last year. Same thing with Boba, Plo Koon and Kit Fisto from like 11 years ago. Kenobi is relatively new, I believe, and Death Watch is relatively new, but I still think that this guy came out, I think, within the last 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, you know, in terms of like actually shipping and whatnot, not, you know, pre-orders. But yeah, so super happy and excited to have this guy. And honestly, if it wasn't for the price, you know, I would have picked up way more. But for the price, I'm cool and happy with one. And yeah, honestly, guys, these 1/6 scale figures, and now I've discovered 1/4 quarter scale. Where does the madness end? Because I've even seen life-size stuff on Sideshow, and I'm just like, I need to be rich. I think we could all agree on that, right, guys? We can all agree that we all want to be rich. But anyways, that's enough about me pining over this amazing Hot Toy right here. And why don't we go ahead and pine over this amazing green green Menace. So yeah, obviously this is supposed to be a iteration of the classic Spider-Man villain Green Goblin, guys, but with it being a third-party unlicensed figure, it is the Green Menace. And yeah, this thing looks phenomenal. I have heard a lot of complaints that the skin tone doesn't match the, you know, the jumpsuit tone and stuff, because, you know, it's all a mask, it's all a costume and stuff. But you know what, with it being a third party, I feel like they, one, had to take some liberations in order to, you know, separate it, and they could say, well, this is his skin, yours wears a mask, if they really needed to. But also, I just kind of think it makes sense. You know, it's a jumpsuit, and you know, their iteration of Goblin just looks like a goblin, and he just happens to wear what he wears, and it just happens to be a green undersuit with a purple overcoat, you know. So yeah, this thing is super awesome, and I cannot wait to get the Mezco one so I could just display them side by side. But obviously, what good is a goblin without a Spidey? So I did find a great deal on a Hot Toys Spider-Man figure on eBay, and well, he should be here for next week's podcast. So obviously I could not just get Goblin himself. That would just be ridiculous, obviously. So I had to get his companion, Spider-Man, obviously. So yeah, my bank account is hating me right now, but my display is loving me. So it's 50-50. It's even, in my opinion. So anyways, guys, yeah, super excited about that. I did also order one other thing. However, it does say ships about 1 to 2 weeks from Amazon, and we know how that goes. They can either literally take 1 to 2 weeks to ship, or it can ship tonight for some reason at like 12 o'clock or 11 or 2 a.m. And you guys ever get those weird shipping notifications at like 2 a.m. from Amazon, like, oh, your order shipped? It's like, oh shit, great. I mean, obviously they work 24/7, I know that, but it's just weird to think that while I'm sleeping, people are packaging my orders. Obviously that's business, but anyways, guys, moving on. Yeah, this guy is phenomenal. He does come with the ability to just use the glider to stand. However, I have had difficulty finding poses and where he balances perfectly on the glider on its own while still looking good, like he's going to be throwing a pumpkin bomb or in action or something. So I ultimately decided to just put him on the flight stand. However, this is a knockoff Hot Toys flight stand, and so as similar as it is to... Right there, guys. You see what I mean? It doesn't fucking grab it as well as a fucking Hot Toys. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. Whoo, man, guys, whoo. Alright, we're probably gonna have to cut right there, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, so we are back after this guy just essentially tried to yeet himself off my table. And remember last week when I had all those Hot Toys on my desk, and I said, oh, I'm gonna leave them here because they're expensive figures. I don't want to move them. I'll just zoom in on them while I'm talking about them. Yeah, well, apparently I didn't fucking listen to myself this week, and yeah, you saw what the fuck happened. And true to my point, what I was trying to say about that stand is, once again, it's a third-party figure, so it tries to mimic Hot Toys. But as you can see, it failed miserably. So, yeah, it doesn't even hold the figure correctly, just straight on. You have to, like, angle it up, and then it kind of tilts sideways so it can kind of grab onto its rib cage or under armpits. And so, yeah, he's going to stay there from now on. And so is this clone trooper. He's not going to move. Batman can move around and stuff. But, yeah, so... that's been this week's toy haul, guys. You guys almost saw a grown bodybuilder cry, but thankfully I was able to save him and avoid all that. So with that being said, guys, why don't we move on into this week's toy news, starting off with Star Wars. Obviously, with the new episode of Kenobi this week comes a whole new selection of pre-orders and figures, guys. And this week we have... Obviously, we're just going over the Black Series. We're not going over the vintage. That was, I think, a Darth Vader figure and one other figure that I cannot think of for the life of me right now. But for Black Series, we are getting a Phase 2 Purge Trooper. One Jack. It's like kind of like the droid from The Mandalorian. What was it, Q9 or something like that? It's kind of similar to that. And an Imperial officer, the lady that helps Kenobi in the series, but in her Imperial officer uniform. So that is it for Star Wars. Marvel Legends did announce 2 new figures, or should I say 3, in a sense, since one is a 2-pack, for this week. And the first one, or the first 2, being the Inner Demon and Mr. Negative from the Spider-Man PlayStation game. Those are a 2-pack up for pre-order now, as well as a new addition to the X-Men VHS lineup, Mystique. So both of these figures were announced. I believe Mystique will be going up for pre-order soon. If not, she probably already is. But yeah, that's, I believe, the 3rd or 4th. No, it has to be like the 4th figure, because I think it was like Wolverine, Jean, and then Mr. Negative, then Morph, and now Mystique. Yeah. So see, I like Marvel, guys. I can't get into that rabbit hole of Marvel Legends, guys. Especially, I'd rather buy Marvel Hot Toys, I'll be honest. But anyways, guys, moving on to Beast Kingdom. We don't talk about them too often, but when they do announce new DAH figures, I do get excited, because that was essentially the line that kind of helped me bridge my collection from Mezco or 6-inch to 1/6 scale figures, because they are 1/9 scale figures, fully cloth or soft goods, and much like a shrunk down Hot Toys. So it's like Mezco, Beast Kingdom, Hot Toys, if you were to line them up and stuff, But Beast Kingdom, off the hype of the new Lightyear movie. Let me know down in the comments below, have you seen the new Lightyear movie? Let me know also, what did you think about it? Did it live up to your expectations? Did it ruin the Toy Story franchise or timeline or whatever? Or does it fit perfectly within that universe? And let me know, what did you rate it 1 through 10 down in the comments below. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. No spoilers, guys. Just if you liked it or if you didn't. So they did announce a DAH 076 Buzz Lightyear, which looks absolutely amazing. And as always, comes with a lot of great accessories. But what good is a Buzz without a smoke. No, I'm just kidding. What good is a Buzz without his Zurg? And so they did tease a Beast Kingdom 1/9 scale DAH Zurg, and man, does he look mean. I may just have to pick him up because of how mean he looks. I'm not too big on the look of Buzz in this movie. Like, I can watch it, it's very watchable, but in terms of collectibles, I don't think I need a Buzz Lightyear figure, to be honest, whether it's a classic Toy Story version or if it's this new Lightyear version. It just doesn't fit in my collection personally. But like I said, anytime Beast Kingdom announces new DAH figures, I get excited, and that Zurg does look really good and can be used against other figures and other franchises. So we may just have to look into that one in particular. So continuing off that Lightyear hype, Hot Toys did also announce their new Lightyear Buzz Lightyear Hot Toy, and man, once again, I'm not too big on this guy and his design in terms of like collectibles and stuff. I would not be happy with him sitting on my shelf, especially for the cost and price of a Hot Toy. Yeah, no, that's an easy pass for me. Maybe if it was like a classic Buzz, then I feel like I just don't need those kinds of figures in my collection. But we will be doing more Hot Toy announcements here on the channel now that I've fucking got sucked into that fucking black hole. But not only Hot Toys, but So Toys, and really any third-party market in terms of 1/6 scale toys, Sideshow, stuff like that. We will be doing more news on those figures now that I have, unfortunately, dipped my legs, underbody, lower body, whatever you want to call it, into the black hole, I guess you would say. I can't even say I dipped my toes because within 3 weeks I have 9. Anyways, guys, moving on. We do have some NECA news. So if you thought they were running out of characters to give you from the classic 1980s cartoon TMNT series, think again, because they did show off their new Deluxe Rex 1. Not Captain Rex, but some robot cop. I don't know. I have the entire series on DVD, and I've watched the majority of it. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that I did fall asleep for a few episodes here and there after a long day. So there are episodes I've skipped and I haven't seen, so maybe he's made an appearance in one of those. But yeah, my friend Robert's excited for him, so I guess he's a really good character, a really memorable character. And NECA's just showing us they've got plenty to give us from that line, guys. Apparently so, because I thought they were, trying to get blood from a stone at this point, but they turned around and fucking were like, no, we got a fucking cow here still. So, what do I know? So that is it on the NECA front. They did announce a few other things. If you're a Gremlins fan, they did show off teases of the new Gremlin, the biker Gremlin. Then the Demolition 2-pack is starting to hit stores. It's starting to make appearances. So, yeah, that's about it for NECA news. But next up is our favorite, McFarlane. And I say that very sarcastically. It's an okay line. It's an okay line, but I will be selling off the majority of my McFarlane multiverse figures, in order to help fund some more Hot Toys and stuff, and also a small vacation. So, necessary sacrifices, in my opinion. I have Mezco Batman and stuff, and I usually tend to use Mezco figures for toy photography because they have the soft goods and they just look way better. The head sculpts and everything, the expressions, the hand sculpts, the options, the accessories. As you can see, they're just ultimately better figures, and that's on McFarlane. He should be including alternate head and hands, and giving you guys a little bit more for your money. Obviously, this is how he makes his money in terms of creating all these different and unique sculpts. He releases very, very slight variants or unmasked or extra hand options, so yeah, I'm kind of just fed up with that and paying $20 every time for that. I mean, I know it's still the cheapest action figure on the toy aisle, but it's just Hot Toys, Mayfix, Mezco. I'd rather just save my money and put my money towards those, so I don't need the latest McFarlane Batman figure, so that is what it is. But yeah, they did announce a few new figures for Target's Summer Geek Out. Yes, guys, it is once again time for another Target Collectibles exclusive event. Yeah, right? We all fucking love when they have it. Just like when Walmart. I mean, Target's a little more like, okay, yeah, at least we're going to get our product eventually. Walmart's like, maybe we'll get our product. And even still, when we do get it, it's going to be, smashed to smithereens and stuff. Thankfully, I'm an open box collector, but it's still no good if the figure itself comes smashed. So, Target is having their Summer Geek Out for 2022, and as last year, McFarlane is a part of it. So they did have a few exclusive figures go up for pre-order today, Friday. I usually write the date on here. I don't know the date, but it is Friday as of the filming of this, and this is when they went up for pre-order. So first off, they did announce and solicit pre-orders for the third figure in their Starro Build-A-Figure wave, Owlman. In the retro line for Batman 66, they did announce the second Catwoman figure, and she will make a great addition to my 66 Rogues gallery. And so she went up for pre-order today, as well as Manga Spawn. Todd's just trying to cash in on every fucking trend, isn't he? We're going to move on from that one, guys. So they did also release a gold label Batman Dark Detective. And essentially the only difference between this version and the one that we got when, the Batman was released and there was pallets of these things all over Walmart is the lack of trench coat, which makes absolutely no sense to me because he kind of looks really fucking shitty without the trench coat. But I never read the comics, so maybe there's a run portion during the comics where he doesn't have his trench coat, and that's why he's releasing the variant without the trench coat. If not, it's a very, 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 very lazy variant and re-release. So that's just my opinion on that. But he did also announce a black and white page puncher Batman. Of course, Batman, and not the whole fucking wave, because he knew the whole fucking wave would just sit there. But of course, us Batman collectors have to collect them all. We have to have every single Batman, whether it's in color and black and white, retro, with the trench coat, without a trench coat, with the cowl, without a cowl, with the Batarang, without a Batarang, blah, blah, blah. This is why I'm sticking to premium figures, because I could buy one figure. Yes, I'm paying a premium price, but I'll have multiple expressions. I'll have multiple hands and multiple accessories and gadgets. So, yeah. McFarlane, guys. Diamond Select did have a First Order Stormtrooper bust. I'm still having some issues with my toy page email, so I'm not getting their emails right now. I'm not getting any emails to that email right now. It's kind of due to my photo storage being too full, and it's not letting me get any more emails, so I'm going to have to do some stuff to rearrange, move some stuff around, and free up some space so I can start getting more emails. But until I have the time to do that, I don't really get any emails from Diamond Select right now, or I don't get any emails at all. So I don't really know what they have up besides this, because I did see it pop up on my feed. But yeah, with that being said, that wraps up episode 40 of Coffee and Toys, guys. A little lackluster for episode 40, right, in terms of the toy news. I was kind of hoping for a little more substance and everything, but it is what it is. Like I've always stated, it can't always be high volume toy weeks. It's especially now with toy prices going up and toy values going down. I'm kind of happy with them slowing things down. And I think with San Diego Comic-Con coming up, that's kind of where they're focused at this moment. So we'll see next week, see what they have in store for us then. But until then, guys, I guess that wraps up episode 40 of Coffee and Toys. And once again, guys, thank you so much for 40 amazing fucking episodes. And at 50, I will be doing a giveaway. Like I said, let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys want to be a part of the giveaway? A McFarlane DC Multiverse figure, a Black Series, a vintage collection, a NECA Ultimate figure. Let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you've made it this far in this week's podcast, type down in the comments below Hot Toys Idiot to, let me know you've made it this far and that you're enjoying the content as well. So with that being said, guys, If you haven't already, please follow me over on Instagram at CoolFigurez and also Epic Shots by CoolFigurez, my more dedicated toy photography page where I post my more thought out plan and more edited pics. If you guys do enjoy unboxings, check me out over on TikTok. That's where I post all my unboxings. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to me here on YouTube. We have just crossed the 900 subscription mark, guys. Thank you so much once again. We are so close to 1,000. Let's try and reach it by the end of June. So if you haven't already, I would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and also that like button if you do enjoy the content. So with that being said, guys, obviously the episode is not over yet. We do have Coffee and Toys Live coming up right now. Let's go ahead and get into this week's Coffee and Toys Live. Welcome back to the CoolFigurez page. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector, and welcome to episode 19 of Coffee and Toys, where I will speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy collecting, toy photography, and so much more. This week, I would like to welcome Big Nerdy Matt from the Nerdzoic YouTube channel / Nerdzoic Toy Store. Welcome, man.
What is going on? How are we doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing? How's everything going with the store?
Beyond busy. You ever feel like you had one of those Zach Morris cell phone things where you can pause time for a day just to catch up? That's my life.
I wish, man. I think we all feel that way sometimes, right?
Whew. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So I take it that everything is going good after the unfortunate accident that happened in the toy room and everything?
Yeah, I like to call it the tragedy. It's like when the Mandalorian ship blew up and everyone freaked out because they got it on HasLab. That's essentially what it was.
Right.
But yeah, everything's going good. The recovery is slow. I haven't even begun fixing things yet. So one of the byproducts, but that was a good byproduct, is got a lot of people, a lot of new eyeballs on it, and people just start buying more than ever, and it really increased sales nicely. And combination of that and me being able to score some pretty primo product as of late has kept us very, very busy. I'm like surrounded in shipping boxes on a regular basis.
Well, that's a good problem to have, right? Especially as a store.
It is a fantastic problem to
have. So we'll get into the store and everything in a bit, but let's start from the beginning, man. I know you've touched upon this in your YouTube videos and whatnot, but let's let these people know what exactly got you into collecting, man.
Yeah, so I was at a high school project on a field trip. I got bit by a spider. Oh, wait, no, that's Spider-Man. Sorry, I get confused sometimes. No, so I've been collecting since high school. I remember it very well. I've always, who doesn't love toys growing up? But I remember when I first found my clique in high school, my group, I went to the one kid's house, went down into his basement, and it was like Toys R Us light. He had all the Power of the Force figures lined up on the pegboards all perfectly, and it looked good, man. It looked great, and I was just like, this is amazing. Maybe someday I'll buy one or two. And I had just got a job, and I'm like, okay, I can probably afford this. I remember hanging 2 4x6 pieces of pegboard in my bedroom at the time, because I'm like, oh, not like a female's ever going to be here, so it's okay. And I hung them up, and I'm like, it'll probably take me forever. My dad was like, it's cool that you're getting into this, but that's a lot of pegboard. You're never going to buy that many toys. And from there, it was downhill. I go to Toys R Us every day, go to Target, Walmart, do the toy hunts that are now dead. And that was it, man. That's where I got hooked.
Yeah, I think that's definitely how you said, we all grow up. But I think what's a little different between you and me is that during high school, my little niche of group of friends weren't collecting really. So I wasn't too heavily into it. But at the same time, it was right at the height of the MCU coming in and it being cool and everything. So I was able to put a few things here and there, like a Spider-Man figure and stuff, and it still slide past. And it wasn't noticeable. You know what I mean? It was acceptable at the time. But then I went to college and I was just like, well, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about me. I'm going to do what I want, collect what I want. And next thing you know it, I'm surrounded by a bunch of collectibles.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. And I was always like super in the closet nerd. I didn't tell anybody. It's one of those things where it's like, look at that big angry bald man. I bet you he probably eats children in his small time or something. But no, he collects toys. Nobody would have guessed.
Right. He collects children's toys, not children.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And he doesn't even eat them.
Right, exactly. He just plays with them. Well, not even plays with them. He just displays them.
Displays them just right.
So, would you say that your collecting kind of continued on from high school into your college years and into your young adult years as well?
Yeah, so it went straight. I actually moved out of my hometown, which is right outside of Philadelphia, 2 weeks after high school graduation. And as you can imagine, that was like, oh my God, you leave everything, the worst timing ever. But I vividly remember I had a 1988 Mercury Cougar, and I wouldn't trust the movers with my toy collection. So I managed to get like a full carded Power of the Force collection into that Cougar. Like I had figures lined across the dashboard for the 2 hour trip down the PA Turnpike. Uh, and toy collecting when I moved out here was really like my saving grace. It really was because you didn't know anybody, new place, going to college. It kept me centered. My toy runs, especially, I was the king of the middle of the night toy runs at Walmart's. Like I would put 200-300 miles on my car between like midnight and 6 a.m. Like I got nothing else to do. Get a sub somewhere in the middle at a 24-hour gas station, and yeah, it never slowed down for me until I hit. So I dropped out of college. I was one of those guys. I never finished. I was working in restaurant management, and that's where it kind of slowed down a little. Where it was like, maybe it's time to grow up. Need to find a woman, and I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that off with, Chewbacca's head staring at them when they enter my living abode.
Yeah, that definitely would make it a little difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah, but I think times are changing now. I think some women are just as into collecting and into pop culture and Marvel stuff as guys are nowadays.
Yeah, they really are. Like I have, I'm sure. I mean, you're on YouTube, so you get those cool analytics. I can see a whole 3% of my viewers are female, but I have
I
quite
got
a few
1%.
female customers. 1%, yeah. We just, I just think they don't like watching the videos. But yeah, there's a huge amount of female collectors out there, and it's cool. And there's also like the nerd stigma. That's done like a whole 360 or I guess 180 where now it's cool to be nerdy, and like now I'm just like no, I'm like the bad nerdy, where everyone just that nerdy. I'm like I don't want to be like everybody else.
I like being the outlier and the person that didn't have to be like everybody else.
That's right.
So you collected for, I guess, a good portion of your life up until you did that. And then I guess you did find your woman, you got married and everything. And at some point you decided, well, maybe it's time to get back into collecting, right?
Yeah, so it stopped before I found the woman. So I did my thing of like, okay, I'm not going to really do this. And then finally I was like, you know what? Screw this. I bought my first house, and it had a 2 bedroom. So I was like, okay, here's the plan. The woman does not need to go into the other bedroom. And that was my theory, and it worked out well. Like there were some ladies who were like, "What is in there?" I'm like, none of your business. Like they must have thought that there was some kind of like I don't know, like some kind of BDSM thing going on in that room, because they'd be like, "What's behind that door?" I'm like, "My toys are behind that door." And that's what I leave it at. So I was I was the original, whatever that guy's name is. But yeah, so then I met my wife, and my wife for whatever reason found that, I don't know, I think she said endearing is the word. And I started a little bit here and there, and we lived in that house together till 2018. And it was a smaller house. What once was a mansion to a single bachelor turned into a shack when you have 2 children and a wife. And we moved. We got what was supposed to be our forever home, and probably will be our forever home. And I had my giant basement, and it was time to get it all out. And I found things I forgot I even had, because stuff was in. Because once we had our son, we had to put everything back into storage, and yeah, it's been quite a journey. Now it's, when I got it out, I said, "All right, guys, you're home. Never going to be in storage again." And now it's in storage again.
Well, I mean, you can't account for accidents and situations like that.
Well, in all reality, it went into storage before that. The way the store's expanded, I've had to, just because of space. I've been slowly so I sold off some minor parts of my collection. I found myself getting a little bit too thick, too broad into too many different things. And I was like, all right, got to lay down some ground rules and get rid of some stuff. And so a lot of bigger boxes went. I still have some that I'm working on slowly selling off up top there of my collection, because one of my rules is I won't keep anything. I won't keep anything mint in package unless it has a window box. So that eliminated a bunch of stuff that I could sell off. But now I had to put a bunch in the storage because of the store. I needed space.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that makes sense because, yeah, I mean, inventory probably wraps up or stacks up pretty quickly. I mean, if you were into collecting so many different lines, I'm sure, other collectors are into so many different lines. You had to, add all that to your inventory and everything. So that just multiplies everything.
Yeah, and I have this problem. Like not a problem. Like this going, and I keep adding new lines to it, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm putting this, but I don't care.
You always find the space somehow, right? That's the way the collectors do it. Somehow we always find the space for it.
That's the theory. Right now I'm in my living room surrounded by toys for the time being till I get that basement finished.
Hey, but at least you're at home and it's your own business and everything, and you're not working for anybody at this point. And, like you said, you've built up a great audience and a great customer base, and it's grown significantly. And at this point, it can only grow even more.
Well, that's a nice thought that I'm not working for anybody else. I actually still work a full-time job. Actually, I have my notice that next Friday is my last day, and then I'm officially working for myself. But right now, I work about 100 hours a week between the two, and I am exhausted. I cannot wait. So next Friday is my last day, taking the wife and kids out of town for a couple of days, and then when I come home, I'm going to slumber for 48 straight hours to recover. And then it's all right, time to hit the grindstone and really start pushing out content and pushing that plastic crack.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, we all can use, some rest and relaxation, but I'm glad to hear that you're at that point where you can finally quit your regular job and just work full time for yourself, man. That's great, I know that's what you've been working towards this entire time, and it's amazing to see that come to fruition for you, man. Amazing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't even know that I totally can. It was more of an impulse thing. It was, damn, I hate this job. I hate this job. So I'm turning in my resignation. And then I'm sitting there looking for jobs. My wife's like, do you really think you need a job? And I looked at her and said, have you seen how much money you spend? Yes, I need a job. But we eventually came to the conclusion that at the very least, I'll take the summer off. I might do some freelance work here or there, but I'm going to try to make a go with this. I have, the social media following is really just YouTube. So I might try some other things, might try up the gram here, might do some TikToking, do some podcasting. We'll see. I got a lot of ideas in my head and just not enough time to make it all happen.
Trust me, I know all about that, man. I'm running my own business too. I'm a personal trainer and I have my own personal training business that I run and everything aside from my YouTube and everything. So I understand that, working long hours and everything and still coming home and having to do even more stuff. So
yep.
Yeah.
Never ends. And it's rewarding. It's the only time it ever feels crappy is where it's like you feel like you're trying to dig out of a hole and you're like the dog scratching and you just keep getting deeper. That's the only time it's really rough.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know about that. I'm kind of right there too because I took yesterday off. I kind of took a nap when I shouldn't, and well, now I'm about 2 to 3 days behind. So it is what it is. But
nice.
Like you said, we're gonna have to get it done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, what are some of your favorite lines that you collected throughout your entire life, man?
Yeah. So I was when I started collecting, it was almost exclusively Star Wars, and it was at the little bit of a dark time after Phantom Menace, and there wasn't that much being released. So I started collecting some wrestling stuff too. And then I became like, okay, well, now I'm back to Star Wars because it was just that. And I've been all over the place. But right now, the biggest things I collect, number one, and everyone's always surprised when I say this because it's not something I sell because I can't. But number one is Neca Turtles, man. That's my number one favorite line to collect. I hate it too because I can't actually find it. I can't find it or buy it, so I hate it at the same time. But that's my number one. I just love it. Marvel Legends has become number two, and then again now I'm back to wrestling. This three. Star Wars has fallen off completely, largely because of space. Star Wars, I'm very specific in what I buy because Star Wars has always been my mint on card line. And now that I have a
Mm.
store, I'm like, I don't need it. I already got everything. What's the point?
No, yeah, definitely, man. No, I totally get that with selection in Star Wars. I mean, there's so many characters and figures that are released. It's like you really have to pick and choose, especially with prices going up and everything. You have to like really kind of be selective, and space too, like you said, space quickly becomes an issue, especially when you're doing army building and stuff with like clone troopers and droids and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Space quickly becomes an issue.
Oh yeah, it's spaces. I mean, and I've ran restaurants my whole life, so I'm very creative at making things fit into small spaces, but you can only do so much.
Exactly. You can't create more space.
Yeah, exactly.
So, besides collecting and stuff, have you ever been into toy photography? Like, have you yourself done it, or do you at least enjoy looking at it and seeing different, toy photographers and what they do?
So toy photography is this is your quote of the episode. Toy photography is the future of this entire hobby. I think it's amazing, and I'm terrible at this point. Uh, I'm actually working on learning it. I've been talking to some professional toy photographers, trying to really get the lowdown and get myself to where I want to be with it before I start sharing anything that I've done. I think that with the end, basically, the toy run's coming to an end. All right, so it's like, all right, how do you enjoy this hobby if one of the best parts was a toy run? And the answer becomes building displays, figure photography, dioramas.
Hmm.
So I think that is like the future of it. I think it's awesome. I love going into my timeline and seeing things. Just one of my favorite things.
No, yeah, definitely. That's one of the things that got me so heavily into collecting. It was a little bit about just, seeing these updated new figures, especially in the Star Wars line, seeing 6-inch figures that are, mass produced at $20 at that point. It was unheard of back in the day.
Yeah.
And so, and then slowly seeing, like you said, on the timeline, just seeing toy photography and seeing what's possible with these new figures and stuff, much like, like Work More or Less, Jason Yang, he does some amazing toy photography.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw his recent turtle picture that NECA actually featured.
Jason Yang, I don't even think I know that one. So the ones I follow, I mostly follow Marvel people and wrestling people. So for Marvel, it's always like I'm gonna have to look this up now. But
Yeah, he's actually
The
here in the chat
Amazing
right
and
now.
stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, is
the
he?
amazing, but yeah, Work More or Less. Check him out. He does some amazing
I
toy
will.
photography, especially some NECA turtles. He just actually did one that, like I said, NECA featured.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's a great toy photographer. He actually helped pioneer Digirama, which is like using digital backgrounds for toy photography, like on your computers and your
Okay.
TV. So he's like one of the pioneers of that. Has like a whole layout and instruction manual on his website. You should definitely check out his website. It's very informational, man.
Nice. Yeah, I'll take a look. That's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, he's definitely one to learn from. I don't know if you know who 1/6 Shooter is. He's a great toy photographer as well.
Oh yeah,
Jason
Trevor.
B.
Yeah, him and I've met
Michael.
a couple times. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I've spoken to a few great toy photographers on here as well too. So yeah, I myself am one. So yeah, I always love talking to them and picking up tips and tricks and trying to improve my own toy photography. Because yeah, I started out with no knowledge of how to take pictures whatsoever. I just, was standing toys up and stuff, and slowly I would see their work and okay, let me add lights here, let me add shading here, let me add it into Photoshop and do different stuff. And and like I've always spoken to them about progression. You can see people's progression in their profiles, when they start out to where they go and how great they get, just with practice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing thing. It really is. And if you would have asked me 20 years ago if I thought this is where we'd be, I'd be like, huh? What are you talking about? Who wants to take pictures of toys?
Well, I think do you know who Sir Dork is? Jared?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jared's amazing. His special
Yeah.
effects are incredible.
Well, in one of his videos, he actually put it kind of like clearly and saying like, before Instagram, kind of like you were saying, it was kind of unheard of and unthought of being able to do this, because before Instagram, you would have had to take those pictures and then go up to different random people and be like, do you like this photo? Do you like this photo?
Yeah.
Because back then there wasn't social media, so that would have been
That's
the
a good
only way
point.
for you to have gotten that out there. And like you said, back then you would have never thought about this being anything near the future of toys, because there wasn't anything to be able to share them, in terms of like a platform or anything. Where now we have so many social media platforms to share this great content.
Yeah, and the other thing, a piece of it that is again so far beyond my skill level is some of the guys on the stop motion they're putting together is absolutely insane.
Yes.
Neca hired the one guy. Neca
That
hired
one
the
guy,
one guy, and
yeah.
he does it. Oh my god, that stuff's incredible.
Yeah, I know. I tried looking into that and I was just like, this is a little too much for me personally. It's like you have to have a lot of patience and a steady hand, and I shake and I don't have patience at all.
Yeah, I have neither of those things.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna let them do that. I'm gonna admire that, and I'll just keep working on my own toy photography.
Yeah, nice, nice.
So, what got you into wanting to make a YouTube, man? This was before the toy store. This was basically right at the start of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted a business is what I wanted. And I had a blog on restaurants and I had a YouTube channel I was going to make on restaurants. And the week the pandemic really hit, right when the 15, like the couple of days before the 15 days to slow the curve, I filmed my first restaurant video and it was so bad. It was just like I was lifeless. I didn't really know what I was talking about. It was just I didn't seem like I knew what I was talking about. And I showed it to my wife and she said, "You know, you'll never be able to make a business out of it, but why don't you make some videos about toys since you love talking about it and you don't even have to think about it?" So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do that." So that was it. I started I made the Nerdzoic YouTube channel, made the logo in like Photoshop in like 5 minutes and launched the channel. And it didn't blew my mind. Didn't expect any of that what happened to happen from there. That was all a happy accident.
No, yeah, I've been watching you since the start, and saw you, your followers and subscribers climb very rapidly and stuff because you put
Yeah.
out some great content. You're a very engaging person to watch when you're on camera, man. I'll admit, you have a great characteristics on camera. You're very entertaining. You're funny. You're engaging. And like your wife says, you love talking about it, and it comes across in your videos, your passion for these toys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I totally people have told me that and I get it. It's one of those things where I don't think it's like, man, I wish I could be passionate about something on YouTube that has a much bigger following, right? Like I can't go in and talk about like, hey guys, let's talk about cryptocurrency because I'm sure, but I just don't care. I don't care. So
No, yeah, I'm the same way, man. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, you could go into something else, but it's whatever you're passionate about, it's whatever makes you happy. And I feel like that's the great thing about social media and these, platforms is that it gives us a way to connect, even though we're such a niche community, we're able to connect and it makes us feel like a larger community than what we really are.
yeah.
You know, when you go on your own Instagram and it's just toys, 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 you feel like such a large community. But in reality, you're so spaced out. But at the same time, now we have Sir Dork putting on the first ever toy photography con. So, at the same time, the
See,
community
I
has
didn't
grown
even know that was a
significantly.
thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's actually going on, I think, this coming weekend in Sarasota, New York.
No way. I wish I would have known. I would have totally gone to that. It's only a 6 hour drive.
That's not too bad. It's better than what my drive would have been. I think it's like over 48, maybe 72 hours.
Woo! See, I've made that drive before. That's how I know. So yeah, that's not a fun drive, but that's worse.
Yeah, definitely. I would have to fly on that one. There's no way I'd drive on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think from where I'm at to Texas is 24 hours straight. Because my friend has family in Texas and he's gone to Texas, driving, and he says it's 24 hours just straight driving.
Yikes. That sounds awful.
Yeah, anything over 4 hours, which is essentially for me Vegas, I'm flying. There's no way I'm going to be
Yeah.
in a car for longer than 6 hours or 4 hours.
No, I'm the same way.
So, what was I? I'm sorry, man. I lost my train of thought. But I was gonna say your YouTube channel, man. I think the other thing that's so enamoring and so engaging about it is you don't just do your typical reviews and stuff. You do lists and you do nerdy awards and you do also those. I don't know what you would call them. I guess toy stock reviews. When you kind of
Yeah,
give
yeah, that's
us,
pretty much what they are. Like,
yeah, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah, like, and that was one of those things. And that's again, it's the happy accident. Like, I really, when I was kind of coming up with my initial list of videos to make, I knew that it was going to do well when I made my first Black Series Most Valuable video because I literally took it off of a baseball card channel. Like I saw a guy growing really quickly doing those types of videos, and I'm like, huh, I wonder if that will translate. It did. Translated really well. And it just turns out that it's something I was also really always super passionate about. Not because I'm a scalper or anything like that, but I've always found it fascinating. Like I get my toy fair every month, and I'd be like, "Oh right, my toy stock is up 3%," and I always thought it was interesting. But yeah, it's always been a staple of the channel. That and the top tens, and I've never really gotten into the reviews. I hate doing reviews. In fact, I think that it's a incredibly oversaturated market, and I have nothing new to add to it. I do enjoy doing the occasional like unboxing and messing around playing with a figure that's like super low, very low edit, not what you'd expect from me. Really, just like a hangout, kind of like the Whoosh play days. Because I just don't like doing video. I don't like doing reviews. I do want to do. There's a lot of other stuff I want to do. I want to get more. I really enjoy doing toy history type things, so I want to do more in that vein. I really like looking back on older stuff and older modern stuff, like 5-10 years ago. It's modern history now.
No, yeah, it definitely is. It's crazy to think back, like 2012 was already 10 years ago.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if we're like in a time loop. I don't totally understand how this is happening.
Yeah, I think everybody can agree on that. I think everybody's been noticing the time's been going by a lot faster recently.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, what is your favorite aspect of YouTube, man? What is your favorite thing about it?
I enjoy coming up with ideas, and I enjoy editing. I hate I like being on camera, but I hate filming. So that's why you'll almost never see me, or you rarely see me with a moving camera, because I am not a great
Mm,
video guy. I'm a phenomenal video editor, but I hate filming. But I like being on camera. So that's why when I had my studio, it was a flip of a switch, lights, camera, action, ready to go. Uh, I enjoy coming up with different ideas. When I'm not working a million hours a week, I have all sorts of crazy ideas in my head for videos. Sometimes I'm able to make them come to fruition. Sometimes I'm not. Right now, I haven't made a video in 6 weeks because of the basement situation. My brain is like mushing of ideas, like they're popping out my ears. I can't wait to get back on video.
do you have like a notepad that you write down all your ideas, or do you just keep them in your head?
Both. My ideas generally kind of chunk together, and a lot of the times I don't even have ideas. It's just like I have a thing that I think is funny and I want to do. I'm really, really invested in short form video now, even though I haven't made more than two. I think that the under 60-second, so Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, I think that is like the biggest opportunity right now. And it's also from a creativity standpoint, it's something that I want to get in because as each day goes more, people's attention span gets shorter and shorter. And I'm looking to kind of take my content that has been 100% toy focused, and I want to expand a little into a little bit comic books, but really into story, like comic story. Like, hey, today we're going to talk about why Obi-Wan blank. Like I just want to be able to kind of go into theory and things like that and talk about it. And I don't think that does, even though it does well for other people in long form, I think for me, I can make a video in under 60 seconds answering some really crazy questions like, why doesn't Daredevil kill people? Excuse me. And I think it'll be better.
Well, I mean, whatever works for you, man, if that's what you feel would work best for you. And I think that would be honestly very interesting, getting those little quick tidbits and facts just really quick alongside your other long formatted videos. I think that's just something to add. Like you said, right now it's just key to, short form videos are key. Like you said, people's attention spans are seeming to get shorter and shorter, you know what I mean? So like even in my own YouTube videos, I've had to completely cut out my intro and outro just so that way I'm jumping into the review and keeping people in. And it's not having people, exit out and do the different things while, my intro is playing.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you, if you watch my videos over the years, you'll see how I've changed that too. So I speak in bursts on video because I have to speak really quickly. It's not my normal cadence. But what I will do is I'll say that this was released in 2017 and it came out and it had 4 arms. But I'll do it and then I'll give myself a second and then I'll go into the next thought because then I can cut them together. And when I cut them together, I cut out breaths. So if I do
Yeah.
2 sentences or 3 sentences in a row, the reason you'll see my camera move so much is because I'm cutting out a couple of frames here and there just to keep the pace up.
No, yeah, I get that, man. With me, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm gonna try to get it all in one take, and
Yeah.
because I'm the opposite. I hate editing, man. I'm like, it's so tedious for me. I'm just like, I fall asleep so many times while I'm editing, and I'm just like, all right, come on. So for me, it's like my goal is to get everything perfect in one take. Obviously, that's never the case, obviously, but I try to do as little mistakes as possible, but sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes you have one of those days where you can't even say normal words correctly, and so it's just one of those times.
Yeah, you'd be very surprised to see some of my uncut videos, how long they are. And then there's just times where I'm just like, come on, what are you doing, man? So yeah, without a doubt.
So something you kind of started on your channel also that's kind of unique to your channel. I don't think I've ever seen other channels do it. I've seen other channels do top 10 figures of the year and everything in their own sense, like what they prefer and what they like. But you kind of went a Oscars kind of route with yours, right? And allowed the people to pick it, not even you, right? You open up votes and
Yeah.
stuff for your fans.
Yeah, so I do that regularly, but the big one is like the yearly Nerdy Awards, and I always get as many different presenters as I can. This year, I've done it twice. The first year I did it in 4 10-minute videos. This year I did it in one 36-minute video. I think I like the long form better, even though the other one performed better. I mean, it's just a blast. And there's so many times I'm doing things where like, this one, a great example is like I'm watching the votes come in and I'm seeing that the best wrestling figure is this Macho Man figure. And I happen to know that I have this customer who does the world's best Macho Man impression. And I'm like, please win, please win, please win. I have such a great idea for this. And like I'm sitting there praying. I'm like, oh wait, almost done, almost done. But yeah, they are one of my favorite ones to make.
Well, that's great, man. And like I said, I think that's something that also helps bring attention to your channel is that uniqueness and that, camaraderie of, bringing together other toy content creators to be a part of this, and, really branching together the community and showing how, it is your channel, it is your show, but you also want to share it with others.
Yeah, it looks like we need cool figs on this year's Nerdy Awards. I'm saying we could probably make that happen. I know a guy. I know a guy who
So,
might be able to make that happen.
well, if you do, man, put in a good word for me if you can.
All right, I'll see. I'll see what the big boss says.
Sounds
Hey,
good,
look, and
man. I
someone likes my
appreciate it.
customer service. Thank you.
We have a lot of stuff here for you, man. It says, someone said that they got their shipping really fast. They like your store, so you have a lot of great customers, man, that are very vocal and are very supportive of you, man, which is great.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It really has.
So, kind of talking about your customers and everything, and branching over from YouTube, what got you into making a toy store? What made you decide to open it up?
So we're back in 2020. The channel's still going strong. I ended up starting the restaurant channel, and I forgot that we were in the middle of a pandemic and that restaurants were dying. So my whole plan of like making a restaurant consultant business was just pretty much dead in the water. And I had my friends over who she actually worked for me when she was in college at a Panera Bread, ironically enough. And she and her husband had opened a coffee bean roastery, and they were opening their first cafe. And I was helping them out, giving them feedback and consulting for free because no one's paying. And they're like, "Hey, so what's going on with your YouTube thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm making a couple $100 a month. It's not enough to live off of." And they're like, "Well, why don't you sell the toys?" And I'm like, I don't know. That just seems like a bad idea. I mean, if it's not easy, why doesn't everybody do it? And they're like, well, it's probably not easy. I'm like, okay, sure. I guess I could try. And I went in and God darn, it is not easy. Like the hoops that need to jump through, the barrier to entry is insanity. It is way more time consuming and work intensive than I thought. And it's not the stuff that I thought was going to be time consuming and work intensive. Trying to understand what is going through Hasbro's mind on a daily basis. Like, God, they've actually, in the last couple of months, they actually started giving us photos and stuff an hour or two before the figures launch. But up until then, like, I'm sitting there on their live stream doing screen captures, to get pictures for the listing so I could get it up in time. Like things like that. Finding distributors, finding good distributors. It's bizarro. Finding other toy lines to get in. Trying to figure out how to continue to make it more and more profitable so that I can lower prices and be like, for me, I had, like baseball has the Mendoza line. I have the Big Bad Toy Store line. I'll never go over their pricing, and I try to be a little bit under. So it's definitely a journey.
No, yeah, definitely. My friend from high school, he actually owns his own toy store online as well, but he does Funko Pops, And so,
Biggest mistake I
yeah.
ever made was the Funko Pops. I hate them.
Well, thankfully, he's doing very well. They're very successful. They just got a warehouse and everything, and he's doing
No
very
way.
well for himself. Yeah, and I was helping him out for a while when they were still working out of their apartment and stuff, helping get orders and stuff. And yeah, the stuff that they would have to do, the tax work, all this stuff, the distributor finding and all this other stuff, he would tell me about it, and it's just like, yeah, I'm glad I'm just here helping you package and not here helping you run this place.
Yeah, Funko Pops are funny. Funko Pops are something that I was actually on my way out of, and then I hear a story like that. Like, because the Funko Pops, man, I don't know if it's my collector base or what, but they don't move. They just sit there.
Yeah, I think it's starting to split in terms of the collectors. I think you're either a Funko Pop collector or you're not at this point.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it's going. I've personally decided to sell off my collection as well because I recently got into these guys right back here, unfortunately. These money drainers, Hot Toys, and Sideshow 1/6 pieces.
Oh, yeah.
I made the mistake of buying one, and within 3 weeks, I have 9.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's why I don't have any, and I'm not a huge fan of 1/6 scale. I'm a 1/12 lifer, although I gotta say, I've been seeing some 1/4 stuff lately, and I'm just like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a 1/12 scale for life too, and then I was like, I'm just gonna dip my toe. I'm just gonna buy one, and next thing you know, I fell into a ditch, and I woke up, and I was just surrounded by them. I was like, where the fuck did all this go?
That's what
Where
happens.
did all these come from? Yeah.
Yeah, you just
where?
like you're good, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, I made a big mistake.
Yep. Now I'm selling off my Funko Pops, my Power Rangers, and everything just to fund my Hot Toys crack addiction.
Nice. So Hot Toys are one of those things. I would love to sell Hot Toys, but you have to have a brick and mortar to sell them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
someday.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, well, that's your goal, right? To eventually have a brick and mortar toy store as well.
Some days I think that. Some days I'm just like, would I really want to have to be constrained to business hours? So some days I'm like, do I want a warehouse or do I want a toy store? Because I'm going to have to choose one or the other, probably at some point next year. Maybe it's a hybrid. I don't know. Like I've thought about a very hybrid model where like I've looked at I actually looked yesterday at a place. It was an old Dollar General. So it was a good size, 4,000 square feet. I would literally square it off so that you come in, there's a counter and that's it. Like it's like a pickup area. And then maybe a bunch of like dioramas behind glass, but I wouldn't have like the standard toy store look. It would be more like a warehouse store. Like, oh, you want to browse our inventory? Here's an iPad. The idea of having to manage like theft and all of that stuff, I'm just like, no.
No, yeah, it's even more headaches on top of that. So, Toy Junkies wants to know, are you interested in ever selling Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or baseball cards or anything like that?
Yes to all of the above. I have some, I think Pokemon ordered. So one of my suppliers is also does all the cards. So I'm just like, hey, I know nothing about this. Just tell me what to buy. So I looked the other day and like my rep's placing orders for me. I'm like, oh, cool. There's $1,000 of Magic cards. I hope this guy's right. So I know nothing about Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, but I am getting into it slowly. Largely because the market is just so good and it's, full transparency. I'll be able to sell it at I'll be able to sell it at a, retail price, but the margins are good enough that it allows me to continually drive down my Hasbro product price. And that's my goal, is to add enough higher end stuff that I can drive down the Hasbro price to Walmart and Target prices so that I can beat them completely. And that's my goal there.
That's a great plan, man. And that's a great plan. And you have to have that business mindset to know that and to know how you can offset all that stuff. So That's great. Just real quick, something that popped in my mind that can maybe help you later on. Have you ever considered doing like in stock videos? Like when you get new stock in for your YouTube, you just quickly go on like, oh, hey, I just got this in real quick. Go to the big nerdy store, to the
I've
Nerdzoic
thought
store.
about it. So it's ironic. Like I've struggled with ordering, has been one of my biggest vices. I have
Hmm.
under ordered consistently. And like, it would be like, okay, great example. I remember when that Hercules figure came out last year, I accidentally double ordered and I ordered 60 figures. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sunk. I was like, I'll never financially recover from this. I ended up paying a cancellation fee to get rid of 36 of them. Or no, to get rid of 24 of them. The 36 came in and they were gone in like 20 hours. And that's when I realized, oh crap, I can move stuff. I just got to get a lot. So now the problem's been I haven't been able to get. It depends on what it is. Like when I get some of the rarer stuff in, like when I'm able to get some of these nicer exclusives, I don't have to do much. If I made a video on it, by the time it was done uploading, they're gone. The last batch of exclusives I got sold out in a couple hours. It was like $15,000 worth of toys.
Wow.
Yeah, nutso stuff. Yeah,
All about
absolutely
crack.
nutso stuff. Yeah, I got, and then I keep doubling down on how much I get because people are always asking me like, how are you scoring some of the exclusive product? And my answer is, listen, you got to know the right guy at the docks on Friday nights. Go down there. I'm like, I'm not telling my secret, but let's just say that me and Joey numbers go back a long time. I go down, I say, yo, Joey, what you got in those pallets over there? He goes, yo, boss, I got some 212 troopers. Are they good? And I'm like, yeah, they're okay. I'll take 500 of them. So I keep kind of there. I call it like toys are like hot potato. You don't want to get caught with your pants down with too many when they hit mass market because then you're screwed.
Hmm.
So Walgreens has that 212 trooper. I ordered. I bought and sold 180 in like an hour and a half. So then I was like,
Wow.
okay. So I bought 500 more, and as soon as I bought them, Walgreens put them in stock. And I was like panic attack, like, oh my God, I'm going to be stuck with 500 of these troopers. Then, of course, Walgreens sold out a day later. And then mine just started going like crazy. Another great example, I have the G.I. Joe Cobra Island Trooper. I got 180 of those. Those sold out in about 5 hours. But just yesterday, I was able to secure an order for 684 more of them. So got to go
Wow.
down to the dock tomorrow night, pick him up from Joey Numbers, make sure he's good. Hopefully I don't get shot, but I'll get my stuff and I'll have more Cobra Troopers for everybody.
Well, you guys heard it here first. If you guys are looking for more Cobra Troopers, Nerdy's got you covered, guys. But real quick,
That's
touching on
right.
some Pokemon stuff, you already have some customers. Toy
That's
Junkie
awesome.
says, let
I
us
don't know what
know
I'm
when you.
doing.
Well, right here, Toy Junkie says, let us know once you have Pokemon product in stock, he'll buy. And then K Tilly 007 says, I will buy all the Pokemon from you. So you have customers.
Nice. Yeah, Pokemon's an interesting thing. I'm looking forward to getting those in. And someone asked about sports cards. Sports cards I'm definitely going to do because I actually know that market really well. I just don't know if I'm going to sell them under the Nerdzoic brand. It's one of those things, like I actually stopped selling wrestling toys because people would literally be like, nerd, I'm not buying my toys from a nerd. And I'm like, bro, look in the mirror. Wrestling toys are weird. You have to be either sell just wrestling toys or not at all. So I stopped. But I got a feeling that sports cards would be similar. So I might actually start like a shadow brand there where I sell sports cards on a separate site, but I distribute everything out of the same place.
A sub Nerdzoic company.
Yeah, like I was actually talking to my wife a couple nights ago about it. Like that would be a fun YouTube, like a secondary YouTube channel just on sports cards. Because I could totally pull Pokemon and stuff into the Nerdzoic channel. It fits the brand. But if I go in like, hey, I got a box of Topps Chrome baseball, guys, let's open this up. It ain't going to go well.
Yeah, definitely. I can see how that wouldn't cross over too well in either side. The Pokemon in the sports cards and the sports cards in the toys.
Oh, yeah.
It's not peanut butter and chocolate.
No, it doesn't work that way. Sadly, I wish it did because, like, I've got like I'm loving e-commerce. Like, I absolutely like my favorite part of the day is where I go and I try to source things because every day it's all for the most part online. It's making phone calls, building connections with people. A lot of third-party vendors and warehouses will accidentally have overstock that they need to sell off, and it's yeah, who you get a call like, and it's just a blast. I love it, and sometimes it's like, huh. Well, I wasn't planning on buying this, and I don't have any room for it. Like this week, I decided I was getting into the Black Series helmets, and it's just
Those ones are
like,
big.
yeah. So I bought, I only bought 20 of them. So that's about a pallet. I don't know where the hell it's going to go. Like I told my wife last night, I'm like, I think I got to go get at least temporarily a storage unit for a little bit until I can get some stuff figured out. But then I got some Gundams coming because I know that's a big market. But like, you know, I want to give the dork side toy stores of the world a run for their money. That's the goal.
That's a great goal, man. You know, that's a great goal. You have to be able to have a big vision in order to accomplish big things. You know, if you shoot for minor things, you're only going to accomplish minor things. If you shoot for large things, that's where you're going to end up. And you are definitely on the way there, man. Like I said, I've watched you since the start. Your following has grown significantly. And even when you first started your toy store, you know, it went from, you know, please buy to now you're selling out exclusives like left and right.
Yeah, it's crazy how it went. Even like, you know, now it's the other piece I'm looking at now is I'm looking at trying to figure out how I can buy straight out of China versus through American distributors so I can get stuff sooner. But then it comes
Cut the
down
middleman
to like,
out.
Yep. So I've been talking to the wife. I'm like, hey, honey, I might need to go to China for a while. Set some stuff up. Okay, dear, have fun. Be home for supper. That's about how the conversation goes.
You're like, sure, supper in like 6 days.
Yeah, I'll see you then if I don't get killed.
Or I don't get quarantined out there.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I'll be easy to find. I'm 6.5 feet tall. It's China, so it won't be bad.
You should. Yeah, you should be able to see over everybody at that point.
Exactly.
So you kind of said like sourcing and stuff is your favorite aspect of your toy stores, you know, that you do and everything. What is your, I guess, I wouldn't say your least, well, I guess your least favorite part, you know, I mean, obviously everything has its pros, everything has its cons.
Fixing things I messed up. I hate it. I hate it when I mess things up. So just before we went live, I realized a major screw up I made. So I sell figure shields, which are the really nice cases, and I have all of them mapped the correct size figure. I sold a bunch of these mapped to the wrong figure shield, and I didn't notice it until someone just said it. So now I have like 15 shields to send out tomorrow, a bunch of apology emails to make, and that is probably, I don't mind fixing other people's mistakes, but I hate fixing my own mistakes. It drives me nuts because I'm like, oh, what the hell did I do? That's probably number one. Sometimes I get tired of putting things on the store, like the actual process of getting things uploaded onto the website and doing any sort of, it's minor, but doing any of the coding that goes with it or any adjustments. Not a huge fan of that.
No, yeah, definitely. I can see how that's a little tedious and stuff when it comes to work, especially when you have so much inventory to input and stuff, because I'm sure you get not just one figure at a time. I'm sure you're getting multiple figures and stuff at a time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is actually kind of light at the moment, but like this is just the last couple of days. It's just, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's like my friend's apartment when they were working out of it.
Yeah, I'm going to need to get an apartment just to keep the business in at the rate we're going.
Hey, you could write it off at least.
Yeah, right. I'm still trying to learn all that stuff. That's another whole, I mean, you know that you run a business trying to, the money end of it. Like I ran corporate restaurants my whole life. So I'm very used to like an accountant handing me a profit and loss statement. And then I take that profit and loss statement and figure out how to do better. Making the profit and loss statement and figuring out how to make everything line up and accounting correctly. Awful. Awful.
Yeah. I can see that, man. Yeah, and like you said, you know, just having to figure out all those other little things. It's the fun stuff about owning your own business, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way because after the pandemic, I went and got a full-time job again, thinking couple. I didn't expect the store to go as quickly as it did. You you can't go back. It's so hard to go back because every single thing someone above you tells you to do that you think is stupid, you can't
You
do it
can't
anymore.
argue.
Like no, I could not argue. I'd be like, you realize this is stupid, right? What did you say to me? I'm like, your idea. It's stupid.
Well, I mean, at least they were hurting for employees, so they couldn't really fire you still.
No, no, I'm sure they wanted to many times, but they never did. If anyone's watching, hello. They do enjoy the fact that I'm the YouTuber of the business.
Well, that's good. A lot of people try to hide that sometimes from their workplace or stuff.
My wife just walked by. I'm like, what are you doing? She's just locking the doors.
So that basically pretty much touches up pretty much on your toy store. Is there anything specific that you want to talk about your toy store before you move on and stuff?
Yeah, just keep an eye out. A lot of new stuff coming. In the next month or two, we'll be rolling out. First off, we're going to get back downstairs again. Secondly, some of the things I'm looking to rolling out is there'll be some major site updates. There'll be the ability to control a lot of things on the back end for the customer, such as like seeing your store credits, seeing what's coming, when it's coming, and whatnot. Then we're slowly in development of an app, like a native iOS and Google Play Store app, so that you don't have to play the open the web browser on the phone game. And then lastly, the big thing, the thing that I say is going to change toy collecting is I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who went from YouTube to selling. Most people go the other way around. It's like, yeah, I got to make a YouTube channel to support my store. So content's what I do best. I'm actually looking at some sort of subscription model that will be either a monthly fee, and part of that subscription, think of it like an Amazon Prime, will be once a month. Any toys that you order get shipped to you for free. So you always order free shipping. You're basically then at that point you've cut out. There's no reason to not buy toys from me. It's cheaper than going to Walmart. So, and there'll be a lot
Yeah,
of perks that go with it. Early access. There'll be some courses in there that I'm putting together. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like you piqued my curiosity with some of the toy photography people, because even though I am an instructional designer by trade now. So I want to get with some of these really awesome toy photographers and say, hey, listen, can I pay you $500 for a day of your time, or $1,000 for 2 days to just show me how to do toy photography while I record it? And I will turn that into an amazing course. So I'm really looking forward, and all that kind of stuff, will all be with the subscription.
that's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's some great content and stuff that you're looking to bring to the community, man. I mean, I would have never expect that to be coming, but that sounds so amazing and so great. And I hope that you're able to pull that off and you're able to do it. And I'm sure a bunch of the great toy photographers would love to be able to work with you, man. Knowing from experience, they're great people. They're friendly. They're kind. No matter how big their following is, they're always willing to take the time to talk to you, especially about toy photography.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be making sure I make it worth their while, so it'll be a good time. I can't wait.
Sounds good, man. So, are there any new figures that you're excited to be coming to your store, or for you to be, I don't know, are you still kind of collecting, or because you said you're kind of like,
So right now, everything is in a downturn. So like I had a stack sitting at the base of my desk to open. They all got flooded, so I opened them all. So now they're just sitting in clamshells waiting for me to play with them. I mean, display them. Uh, but yes, there are still things that I'm excited about. So I actually, one of the many things I want to put on my store or on the YouTube channel is I want to start a getting high on my own supply thing, which is just me opening stuff that I got in. And there's so many different things, but I really am looking forward. Let's see, I'll go by toy line. Marvel Legends, I'm really looking forward to the new retro Rhino that's coming out, because I never had the Build-A-Figure Rhino. I'm looking forward to some of the NECA Universal Monster Turtles. So Raphael looked great, but I'm really looking forward to specifically, I think it's Leo, where his shell opens in the back and he can store stuff. and I'm looking forward to some of the Mafex that are coming and the Mezcos that are coming down the line. So any day now, there should be Wolverine Mezcos and there should be the Fantastic Four Steel Box. So I've never owned one of those, so I'm scared, if you will, to open one. But I have purposely not, like, I'm looking right now at the retro Fantastic Four set, and I purposely not bought them from myself yet because I'm like, well, what if I can't sell the steel box? I might need to buy that from myself. And it's like, what's going to go with my Galactus when he arrives? And Galactus, obviously, that's the big one.
The big Hasbro HasLab, right?
Yeah, the last good HasLab, because they've been stinking up a storm lately. Sorry, guys, I love you, but you should have hired me for HasLab.
Well, at least for the Star Wars division, right, man?
Oh, my God. Well, I don't know what they're doing. It's almost like they're tanking it. I don't know what they're doing. It's like, hey, what's the worst idea we can have? What if we take a lightsaber that's usually $300 and make it $500? That's a terrible idea. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't either. But, yeah, hopefully maybe one day in 20 years we'll get a decent Black Series HasLab.
That'll be when you'll see like a little thing. Hey, Big Nerdy's hosting the Hasbro live stream today. That'll be that day.
You'll own them by that time, right?
Oh, I doubt it, but wouldn't that be lovely? Well, I'll tell you, like I've been pushing, and my tiny voice, I've been saying the way to go with HasLab is to really push it towards the action figure photography diorama stuff. So they're releasing I think it's a $250 throne room from a single scene in the after credits of The Mandalorian for the book of Boba Fett, and I think it's doing pretty well. But I think they should be doing modular play sets for adults as part of HasLab. Like if it were me, I would bust out a $400 Death Star play set. And no, I'm not talking about a giant circle thing. I'm saying modular. So it has it's basically a bunch of different rooms that can be connected or not connected or stacked. So you would get like a trash compactor, a Death Star hallway, a hangar, a conference room, a tractor beam area. Like there's so many things they could do. And to me, it's just like, what are you guys doing? This is easy money. You can just print money with this. Like that would fund almost immediately.
No, yeah, I think a lot of Black Series collectors were expecting a play set when they announced the first one, and we got a Rancor instead, and they kind of try to include it with the cardboard backdrop.
Yeah, cardboard. Come on. That was, oh, hey, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to kick you down here. Here's a cardboard backdrop. Like, come on.
Something that should just be part of the box.
Yeah. Like it probably was part of the box. They were probably grasping for straws. Hey, you guys, we forgot to have a second tier. I'll just take the cardboard out of the box. They're Star Wars fans. They won't care. They dropped the ball on that so bad. And that Rancor looked great. They did a really nice job building him. It was the marketing of it that was terrible.
It was the marketing and the fact that they made it a HasLab. I feel like it definitely didn't deserve to be a HasLab.
Well, so the piece of it is, yes, I agree with you. It didn't. But the way they made it, it had to be. They put so much money into the paint apps and the ratchet joinery in it that it had to be. However, if they would have just made it the same way they made Rancors for the last 25 years, they could have charged $200 less and everybody would have been much happier. And nobody would have said boo about. You would have had like a couple of YouTubers be like, they could have done more wash with the paint. Like you would have had that, but it would have been so much better.
Yeah, you would have actually got the product out to the collectors.
Yeah, and now it's going to be 0 for 2 on HasLabs for Star Wars. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But we have a few more questions from the chat. Rob Chewbacca wants to know, are you going to be getting in the TVC Darth Vader, The Dark Times?
Yes, it'll be up. I actually just got it loaded onto the website and scheduled to go live tomorrow at 1 p.m.
All right, there you go, man. And then those Toys Junkies wants to know, will you be selling Mezcos from your store?
Yes, I have started selling Mezcos. I've been sticking to Marvel and DC for the moment. I will, however, I should have all non-exclusive Mezcos going forward, including things like their Rumble Society, whenever they're not exclusive. Most of the time they seem to be.
Wow, that's pretty good then. That's going to be a good market to get into. I feel like, you just have to be careful. Some of them they sell like hotcakes, some of them they sit.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and it seems to always be the Marvel ones that sit. I think it's an overproduction thing.
Yeah, I think so too, because the hype behind Marvel is really big right now. So I feel like they know that, and so they overproduce, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, right now the thing with Mezco is they are so far behind on production. Like it's a little scary. Like if I actually had to pay them ahead of time for product, I'd be concerned right now. Luckily, none of this, like all the stuff I have coming in, I'm not really worried about. But like the fact that they're still giving a 1 year timeline on things is what really has me concerned.
Yeah, but I think they started doing that just to kind of like put people at bay because there was a lot of times where they were putting like a 2 to 3 window and they wouldn't meet that deadline and people were getting on them and stuff. And so now they
Yeah.
make it a year, but even at that point, they still tend to push dates back.
I think you're better off making it erring on the side of caution. No one's noticed that Hasbro's been doing this now for the last 3 or 4 months. So
Oh
Hasbro
yeah.
announced, like, where the heck is he? This dude, oh, there he goes, flying client. So this wave was supposed to be January of next year. It's been out forever now. And the wave after or before that was supposed to be like next May, and it's been out. So I think Hasbro's sandbagging us and just telling us dates way in the future so that they're basically just kind of making it so it'll be easy to meet our expectations, which is a smart move. The only one who seems to really nail their distribution, and I give them a lot of crap on other things, but McFarlane Toys, they are usually within weeks of when they say they're going to get something is when they get something. There doesn't seem to ever be delays.
No, yeah, that seems to be like the company that's like on point somehow. Like out of
Yeah,
all the companies, even though it's a smaller company, they seem to be below price point on retail, and also they always seem to be in stock.
yeah, yeah, and they're an interesting one because like those figures sell if you get them first, but a lot of people know, like they've gotten caught in the issue of people know that, oh look, Walmart's going to get a bunch of them and then sell them for $5, so I'm going to wait. And I know people do that because
Yeah.
I did that.
So we have a few more questions. So, how I meet some I can't even pronounce this guy's name. I'm sorry, but he asked, "Will you have the Snyder Cut 3-pack Mezco?"
I don't believe so. I think that was before my time when that went up for pre-order. If it's coming soon, then yes. I don't remember, to be sure. Like I don't have it pre-ordered right now, but if it's something that has not gone up for pre-order yet, I will definitely have it. But I don't have it if it already is up.
Okay, and then they also asked, "Do you have SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball figures?"
SH Figure Arts. I want to make a video about how much I hate Bandai right now. SH Figure Arts has, at the moment, pretty much screwed everybody except Big Bad Toy Stores out of their product. They have raised their price. They got rid of their domestic distribution, and they raised their prices to the point where if I go to my regular distributors, I might actually lose money selling their figures. So I can't afford to sell them.
Hmm.
Which stinks because I was with their domestic distributor before they closed it down, and it was going to be a great market. So you might have noticed I got a couple of SH Marvel things, but that was before the dark time started. I'm trying to find another way around it. Like I get Mayfix figures straight from Japan, so I talked to my guy in Japan about it, and they put a rule with them that they have to sell their figures in bulk, in bunches. So if I want to buy 10 Dragon Ball Z figures, I also have to buy a bunch of crap I've never heard of before. And it's not even that I have, like, if it was like you have to buy one of them, okay, fine, I'll sell it on eBay. If I lose a couple bucks, so be it. But it's not that. It's for every 2 Spider-Man you buy, you have to buy 1 Kamichiwa. I'm like, who the hell's Kamichiwa? So if I want 100 Spider-Man, I got 50 Kamichiwas to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
hoping that when Toy Fair happens, I'm able to see. This is kind of the nice thing about being like kind of like a toy influencer on the other side, and I hate people calling people that, but I just did it. I'm able to kind of call out companies that do this kind of thing and say, hey, listen, if your goal is to screw over small business, you're doing a hell of a job. Because right now, unless you're Big Bad Toy Store or Barnes & Noble, nobody else in the States can afford to carry your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of what has to happen sometimes, it's you guys that have that voice to, stand up and say these things. And I think, like you said, what helps is you yourself are also a small business owner. So you are seeing this firsthand. It's not like you're getting this secondhand from another business owner. You're seeing this firsthand. You have the experience, and you're not just, making things up, talking out of your ass. Like you said, you were with their domestic distributor until they closed it down.
Yeah.
And, it just doesn't make sense, financially for you to even carry their figures at the price point that they're selling them to you.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm hoping that I can find a way around it. And what's made it harder is we are now 2 years in a row without New York Toy Fair. So New York Toy Fair is a time for people like me, the toy seller part of me, to go around and find other vendors and find other avenues to ways of making things happen. Without it, it's been really tough.
Are they supposed to come back next year?
They're now saying they're going to come back in 2023, but instead of it being a February show, they're going to do a fall show. So we still got over a year.
Yeah, it sounds like that would most likely set you up for 2024 more than anything.
Yeah, so it's a while out, and that's fine. But I'm hoping to have them eventually is the long-term answer there.
Well, hopefully you find a way around there, and Toy Fair is your solution, and it happens, and everything, works out.
I'm hoping. But, I mean, like, in the meantime, I've been lucky enough to get a lot of other great lines. Like, I'm able to deal directly with Neca and directly with the Four Horsemen. So Mythic Legions and all of the great Neca lines I'm able to get at a great price. So I'm able to pass on the great price. And frankly, the Four Horsemen, like, people don't get, if you've never looked at Mythic or Cosmic Legions, they are the greatest action figures ever made. I wish they could be making Star Wars figures their style or Marvel figures their style, but the stuff they make is absolutely ungodly incredible.
No, yeah, I haven't gone into that line, but I've seen photos and toy photography with them, and they look fantastic.
Yeah, Trevor, 1/6 shooter, he does all of their toy photography, and it's insane. It really is. And they are the most down to earth company, and more than just that, like it's funny. Some of the fan bases for toys, they can be so like crazily toxic. For like the Mythic Legions people, they are like the anti-toxic. You can go into one of their Facebook groups and ask the world's dumbest question, and instead of getting a bunch of laughing emojis, people actually answer the question without making fun of you. It's such a nice change.
Wow, that is a different, like you said, most of the toy fans are kind of toxic. You see Hasbro Pulse's live stream, and you look at the comments, and you kind of have to like just turn them off for your own sanity, and they're not even aimed and directed towards you.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
So we have a few more questions. ICT Viney Comics says, what was the toy company again? I think he was referring to the Four Horsemen. I don't know if that's what he was asking about.
I think so, yeah. Four Horsemen, Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions. Great stuff.
So Rob Chewbacca wants to know, are you up to date on the Obi-Wan show?
I haven't watched today's yet.
Oh, okay, because he wants to know what your rating is on today's episode, so you haven't watched it yet.
No, I've got a lot of text messages saying that it's the greatest thing, so I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are hating on Obi-Wan, so I don't know.
I mean, it's not like the best, but it's also nowhere near the worst from what we've gotten from Disney. I'd put it at a solid, it's probably one of the better things that we've gotten in the last 10 years in terms of Star Wars.
So here's the thing. I'm an unfair judge of this. You could have literally given me a show that is just Obi-Wan going to work at the butcher, cutting the meat and going home. And like the whole story is basically Seinfeld, but it's Obi-Wan. Like there is no story. It's just what Obi-Wan's doing with his time. Like a vlog. And I would have been like, this is the greatest thing ever. So I admit I'm biased, but I've really enjoyed it. I have really enjoyed it. The only complaint I have two. One, the little girl who plays Leia, that girl's not 10. That girl's like 6. I can suspend my disbelief, though, because the girl does a fantastic job. Second issue
Yeah,
I
she
have with
does.
the show, there's so many plot holes. Like, it's just like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. You know, especially if you've seen Star Wars multiple times and you know the story, the timelines, and everything, you see, like you said, Swiss cheese. It's like looking just through Swiss cheese.
Yeah, like there's so many things. I just want him to, yeah, I don't know. But they did say, one of the showrunners came out and said, hey, we realize this, but we promise you, by the end of this, all the plot holes are going to be answered.
Okay, well, we have one more week.
Well, so here's the thing. What's going to happen here is, I don't know, maybe it happened last night or this morning on the new episode, but Obi-Wan's going to have to kick Vader's ass at some point because, you know, one of the most iconic lines, when we last met, I was but the learner, now I'm the master, right? So I always thought he was referring to Mustafar, right? Like, okay, yeah, Obi-Wan kicked his ass. Well, now we have the scene where Obi-Wan tries to where he burn victims him, tries to drag him through the burn pit. So I'm like, oh, well, I feel like Obi-Wan's not the master here. And I'm also like, I really, if we don't get any, and maybe this happened last night, no one tell me yet, but if we don't get Liam Neeson, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Like, I need some blue Liam Neeson in my life. I had expected that by this point in time, Liam Neeson would be like, Obi-Wan, I don't know who you are, but I will find you. Oh, sorry, wrong movie. Like, where's Ra's al Ghul? I'm very angry about this. I need to know why he's not there. Like, I was angry so I read the episode 3, Revenge of the Sith novel. Amazing. It was one of the best. And then the movie came out. I'm like, yeah, it was good, but the novel was 10 times better. One of the great things about the novel is the appearance of Force Ghost Qui-Gon in the novel. And I'm like, oh my God, Liam Neeson's coming back. And then we didn't get him. And I'm like, the fuck? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I think originally he was supposed to be in. They filmed a deleted scene, if I remember correctly, but they just decided to cut it. But I don't think they actually showed Liam Neeson. They just heard his voice.
Yeah, come on. We already got that in episode 2 with the Anakin, no! Come on, we can get a robot. Like, we got deep fake technology now. Don't tell me you can't afford Liam Neeson. And when you're at it, I need my show on Mace Windu because we know he didn't die in Revenge of the Sith. I need Cyborg Mace Windu.
That would be a great show too.
It would essentially just like, here's what I want. All right, I want a show of Mace Windu sometime around the time of the events of the original trilogy, but I want him to just be pissed off, and I want it to be directed by Quentin Tarantino. And it's just basically, but Mace Windu is going to essentially just be he's going to be Jules from Pulp Fiction. He's going to go from place to place, roaming the earth. I guess it's not the earth, roaming the galaxy, asking about royales with cheese.
That would be a very interesting and entertaining show to watch.
I would totally watch it. It's up there with, like, we could have just Mace Windu watching paint dry, and I watch it because he'd just be like, look at that motherfucker paint dry. And I'd be like, yeah, Mace Windu's back. Where's his purple lightsaber? That's all I need. I'm not hard to please.
Yeah, it seems like that. It seems like as long as there's a Star Wars character from the past in any involvement, you're happy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, first off, I was one of those people who cried when Luke Skywalker returned to Mandalorian. So yes, give it to me, please. I need more.
Well, you and me both, man. We both shed a few tears.
And then I was like shaking my son. He's like, what's the X-Wing? Why is there, is that a Jedi? I wonder what Jedi it is, Dad. I want my, Luke, it's a lightsaber. It's a green lightsaber. Your name is Luke. How do you not know who this is? Parenting.
Yep. That's funny. So we have a few more questions from the chat for you, man. Someone wants to know, will you be restocking Antok Merrick and Glenn Urso?
Yes. A couple of days I should have more, not too many more. I didn't expect the demand for them to be what it was. So I bought 60 of each of those originally, thinking I bought too many. I've now sold over 180 of each of them.
Wow.
So I'm worried that the market saturation is coming, so I'm not ordering them in big quantities from my secret source. So I'm doing it a little bits at a time.
Yeah, I think recently we passed the 1 year anniversary of their original pre-orders, haven't we?
I did. It was that day. Landspeeder Luke made a Facebook or Instagram story about me having them in stock, and suddenly they just all went.
Well, I mean, that's how it goes, man, you know?
It is. It's funny how it works.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy, busy, busy day, man. I know you're a family man. You run your business. You work full time up until this coming Friday, at least. And so I do really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. And I'm glad to hear that everything's going great with your store. I'm glad to hear you have amazing content and ideas ready and lined up for when you can make it for us. And I look forward to seeing it all once you do upload it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and I'll talk to the big guy about the nerdies for you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, just put in a good word for me.
I got you. All right. Well, you have a good night, sir.
Thank you so much, man. You too. Have a good night.
Later.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 19 of Coffee and Toys. And once again, thank you to tonight's guest, Big Nerdy himself, Matt, from the Nerdzoic YouTube channel and the Nerdzoic toy store. If you guys are looking for some great toys, and who isn't here in this chat, definitely go and check out the nerdy store, nerdzoic.com, and check it out, guys. And once again, thank you for all of you that have joined in, that have commented, that have liked, that are watching the replay, the podcast. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. Let me see. Cool stream. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. And Toy Junkies, thank you. I really do appreciate that, guys. Like I said, if it wasn't for each and every single one of you guys, I'd be a grown man talking to myself about toys. So thank you so much. Thank you for 900 subscribers on YouTube, guys. Also, I recently hit 900 plus subscribers, so thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, CoolFigurez. We're on our way to 1,000. I want to try to reach it by the end of June if we can. I know it's a big goal, but I know we can get it. So with that being said, guys, join me next week for episode 20 of Coffee and Toys, where I will be speaking to a phenomenal toy photographer once again, Papa Palpatine Photography. If you don't know who he is, check him out here on Instagram. He does some amazing toy photography, some amazing custom work as well, his own custom work, and some amazing crossover toy photography with like Xenomorphs, Star Wars, and all sorts of other great franchises and stuff. So definitely check out Papa Palpatine Photography here on Instagram, and join me next week for episode 20 when he will be here, and we will speak to him, get some tips and get some insight on his process to how he does toys, how he customizes toys, how he does toy photography, and so much more, guys. So with that being said, if you haven't already, please follow me here on Instagram at CoolFigurez, and also my other Instagram page where I post my more thought out, planned out, more dedicated, or my more edited toy photography pics, Epic Shots by CoolFigurez. If you do enjoy unboxings, check me out over on TikTok at CoolFigurez. And like I said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to me over on YouTube. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get there by the end of June. As always, I've been your host, Jesse the Batman, a.k.a. the Buff Collector. And as always, have a great fucking day.
Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed those pics, you can find the full images over on Instagram at CoolFigurez. And I do also have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by CoolFigurez. Check it out. If you like what you see, leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys like unboxings, check me out over on TikTok at CoolFigurez. That's where I post all of my unboxings. And check me out every Sunday for Coffee and Toys, a weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, weekly toy haul, and so much more. And join me every Wednesday over on Instagram for Coffee and Toys Live, where I will speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy hunting, toy photography, and so much more. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really do appreciate it.